We have always been a nation of immigrants, and I think that's not going to change. It shouldn't change. It's who we are. It's what makes us rich and diverse.
Hi, I'm Jaslyn, and this is my senior project. Okay.
How do you say take one and then you get it? Take one!
This is Concord High School during the Clash of the Classes 2017 rally. All grade levels are supporting their own teams. Different ages, different genders, different personalities, different cultures, and different races have gathered together under one roof. Concord High School, located in the middle of both lower and middle class neighborhood, is the home of the Minutemen. Overall, Concord High has 36 spoken languages recorded in their records due to the various types of students attending the school. Conducted interviews with different people of different races here in Concord High School. I wanted to investigate and see how subconscious bias would affect such a diverse school.
I can't think of a single time when I was discriminated against. I don't think that being a white man I suffer discrimination on a very frequent basis.
I have felt discriminated in the past. This car just stopped and said like "Go Trump," and we were like, "Okay, what does that mean?" And they were clearly like telling us because we're Latinos or Hispanics that we weren't supposed to be here.
I don't know a time where I've been discriminated against, but I know people of my kind, like people of my race, have been discriminated against. For example, when Donald Trump, when he was running for presidency, he said that all Mexicans, well, that the immigrants ones are criminals and that they're rapists, and they're not like that. And I felt that was just judging them based on instinct or based on what you want to think. And then I appreciate that.
Because we live in California where there's a lot of Hispanics, so I don't consider myself a minority.
Like whenever I go into a store, the shop owners tend to like try to follow me or something, thinking that I'm gonna steal.
Have you been or felt discriminated before?
Yes, I have.
Example?
Mainly jokes, terrorist jokes.
Yeah, I consider myself,
Why?
I'm not saying I'm not living harsh. I mean, I live in good, like, no one discriminates me. I'm not getting discriminated by no one or anywhere.
Okay,
I mean, I guess you can say I'm not, but I have a job, pays good, I make money,
At some points I do feel like I'm a minority sometimes. My family, we hardly, keep our own place at times. We run low on money. We almost at times don't even have anything to eat some nights. And at times people will treat us like shit because of our ethnicity. Yeah.
which is, are you...
I'm Filipino.
Have you seen someone else be discriminated before? What was their race? What was their skin color?
Well, like on the news, like people are always discriminated against, like immigrants being called Mexicans or whatever, and like black people, like with the police and stuff, they're always discriminated against.
There's discrimination against Asians, against Indians, against Latinos, against African Americans. There's discrimination against everyone, and not only against them, but towards white people too.
There were African American and also Latino.
Black, white, Mexican, Hispanic, Middle Eastern, Indian.
And African American, I think. Usually they're African Americans, Hispanics also.
Black people or Asian people, bad taste Hispanic jokes.
I think it was like a 12-year-old black boy. He was very dark, and he went in there, he bought, I think it was like some kind of candy, and they were like, "What do you have in your pockets?" And it was his cell phone, and they thought he was stealing. So.
I decided to investigate more and I went to talk to our college and career counselor to see who are the most successful students in Concord High. As a college counselor in a diverse school like Concord High, how do you help students out in preparing for college?
I try and start freshman year. I meet with all the freshman classes at least once. I meet with sophomore classes once. I meet with juniors twice, and I meet with senior classes 2 or 3 times. So I give them packets for their grade level on what they should be doing to stay on track. I give them worksheets to fill out to make sure that they're taking the classes for the college path and graduation path. And we also have a database called Naviance where they could do college searches and career searches to see what they need to be doing to get into the colleges they want to go to.
In your job, you encounter a lot of students asking for help and guidance in preparing how to get into a good college or determining what college to go to. What races or ethnicities are these motivated students?
There is no one race that's motivated. I have motivated African Americans, I have motivated Hispanics, I have motivated Filipinos, I have motivated Asians. There's motivated everybody. So there is not, I can't answer that because there is not just one race that's more motivated than the next.
What races are the students that are usually struggling in getting to a good college due to their grades?
That's almost the same question. So I feel like, I'm not going to stereotype it, because we have a large Latino population here. We have students who do very well that are Latino. We also have students who don't do well. We have Caucasian students that do well, and we also have Caucasian students that don't do well as well, also. So again, it's not one race or one culture that is struggling more than another. I think it's pretty straight across the board.
What races are the students that are having financial problems?
Being at where our school is, where it's located in Concord, I feel like we're really we have more middle income and lower income students than high income. We do have a couple families, very small population that's higher income. It's our middle income. Our middle income students, their parents make too much money to get any financial aid, but they don't make enough money to send their kids to college. So those are the ones that the biggest struggle is with, is those middle income students, and we have middle income students in all races. But there are more middle income students that are Caucasian than anything else.
Then, I gave each interviewee different situations to imagine and asked them what would they do in those scenarios. Explain what you would do in this situation. You see a person walking down the street at night. He seems suspicious based on how he carried himself. Even though it was quite dark, you can see that he is a person of color. Would you continue walking towards him, or would you turn around and walk away as fast as possible from the suspicious person? Why did you choose that? Based on your imagination, what was his skin color or what race was he?
Oh. You didn't say the skin color, did you? That was tricky. Well, in my head, I was imagining that they were non-white because that's what I would, probably be scared of, I guess.
Oh, okay. That's a tricky one. So you can't get people to be honest when you ask questions like that. Well, you said even though it was quite dark, you could still tell that the person was a different race. So, right away, what came to my mind is somebody darker skinned than me.
Please describe what you imagine in this situation. You see a fight at school, and it's between 2 people you know have bad reputations. These 2 people are known to be disrespectful to teachers, hangs out with the bad crowd, and everybody knows that they do drugs. Based on your imagination, what race were these 2 people?
White kids.
Well, what I want to think, okay, personally, I don't know if this is biased. I feel like they're probably like some white dudes, but I feel like a lot of people, based on their instinct, they'll be like, oh, it was someone who was black or someone who was Latino.
Well, what comes to my mind when they say drugs and everything, it comes to my mind basically minorities. It could be African American, it could be Hispanic, but looking at data and statistics has shown that more white people use drugs than minorities.
You really gonna put me in this situation? Ah, man, we kind of, you know what? I say, nah. Ah, man, I don't want to say this, man. Nah, man, you know what?
Go ahead. It's okay.
Alright, I feel like one of them is black, one of them is like Mexican, and they're both fighting over like weed or like some part of like turf or something, some territory. I don't know.
Well, at first, I would probably think the Latinos and or African Americans.
Because usually, typically, when those two things are connected with drugs and respect, it's usually either white trash or your stereotypical bullshit, which is not usual.
Damn. This is a pretty racist question. I say like Mexican and like black.
First of all, that question is racial discrimination. I mean, you can't really base people off of how they act by their race. It's how they're brought up. So I mean, I can't say what race they were or what race I think they were, because then it just be out of context. But if you actually want me to answer that, then I say they're both either African American or white.
White, I guess.
I mean, if they're using drugs, it's hard to say, but like if they have a bad reputation, generally I feel that that could be anyone, but specifically maybe like I'd say Hispanic.
Because, I don't know, I just thought of white people. One of them was black, one of them was white.
In all honesty, I thought of Latinos.
Please explain what you imagined in the situation. One day, a student came in your room and desperately needed your help in getting to any college. They are at risk of repeating their senior year due to the poor performance that they have shown in their classes. What race did you imagine the student to be?
There is. I wouldn't. I can't imagine what it is because I do get that. I get that with all races. I wouldn't say it's one race. I couldn't say it was one race over another.
Is there any hope left for students like these, especially if they are already seniors?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not everybody has to go straight to a four-year school. We have students, even students that aren't successful at Concord High and drop out or go to one of our small necessary schools. They could still go to a community college and transfer to a four-year college and be very successful. Kids have bumps in the road, and it's okay. It doesn't define them, who they are. It's in the past. Tomorrow's a new day. Start over, start fresh. We can't always fix what we did wrong, but you could make today and tomorrow your new day and your new journey. So yeah, there is hope for those kids.
In your opinion, are minorities usually the victims or the criminals in this society?
As far as perpetrators and victims of violent crimes are frequently minorities.
Okay.
Oh, the victims. If you look at crime statistics, white people commit as many crimes as everybody else, and they're minorities are the victims of racism, subconscious racism, obvious racism. When you look at statistics and you see like how much longer you are likely to go to prison and more likely to get arrested for the same crime as a white person, it's very clear that there's a lot of racism in our society. Even if people don't mean to be racist, that's what happens.
What is the top 3 common races of students that usually end up going to a state school or a UC?
Going to a state school, it's more Hispanic kids. It's more of our Latino population. For UCs, it's more Caucasian. Yeah.
How about to a community college?
Very mixed. That's a very, very mixed. Yeah.
Why do you think certain races of students are not doing well in becoming successful when it comes to their education?
A lot of it is lack of support at home. They could have uneducated parents who don't know the system. You also have parents who are working 2 or 3 jobs just to put food on the table. So there are not a lot of parents' involvement. I think that's the biggest, among all cultures, that's the biggest roadblock to kids being successful in high school. Also, we have students here that also need to work to help pay their rent and put food on the table. And so their education takes a back seat.
So you're saying it's more of a situation than like their race?
It's more of a situation that I find it more with the Hispanic culture than any others.
As a student who currently attends a very diverse school, do you think this helps you build better relationships with other people who are of a different race than you outside of school?
Yeah, because like other schools like in the country area, there's like only like white people there, and they're mostly racist, so like they don't have like a lot of experience with like other cultures and stuff. So like, I think that's what makes them racist and stuff. Yeah, I guess, because I gotta learn about like different types of races.
Yes, it does. It helps me because I get to know the other side, other people's cultures, and actual other people, and what difference them from their culture and themselves.
Well, yes, I do, because my best friend, the whole wide world, she's Asian. And
I have a lot of Latino friends, but I also have friends that are from different races, like Asian or white. That's what I like about having a diverse school.
You know, in today's day and age, you gotta hang out with more than just your own culture, because then that'll allow us to do more than just what we already know. It'll allow us to change our future.
If I was going to like an all-white school, then I would, of course, have a different view on people that were different color than me. But there's so many people around me that aren't white. I'm actually the minority in most of my classes.
I feel like I feel like the school is not diverse as I want it to be. And I feel like I'm more to my own people than to other people. I tend to hang out with people that's like I hang out with Latinos, Hispanics, because we live in the same culture. Like we do the same thing, we eat the same food, we know the same thing, like we celebrate the same holidays. I have some Filipino friends, but I want to hang out with them as I hang out with my Mexican friends, or not from Mexico. If they're Hispanic, I tend to lean more towards them than I do with Filipinos, colored, whites. I tend to stay with my own race. I don't know why. I think I just naturally was like that.
The next clip will be showing a question I have asked all the students I have interviewed. However, I only included this student's answer because I admired his honesty the most. Immigrants who are currently in this country or are trying to enter this country.
What happened?
Do you fear immigrants?
No. I mean, I'm friends with most of them, and then my family members aren't immigrants, okay? Some of them aren't illegal immigrants anymore, okay? But, I don't fear them. I guess it's just the world or our country tries to make you fear them in a way, especially like the conservative side, so that way you could, get rid of them. But I don't get it because this country's based on immigrants. Everyone here is an immigrant except the Native Americans. So that basically means like when Donald Trump is doing like an immigration ban or whatever, why doesn't he ban himself? His ancestors are immigrants too, I don't know where they're from. They're probably from England or Ireland or maybe he's Asian, okay? But they were immigrants too,
Like every day in our lives in the United States, you see on the TV and the person who's being arrested every time has black or brown skin, then that sends a message. When the bad guys in movies look one way and the good guys look a different way. When you see only certain images of beauty in magazines and on television, you get a sort of a subconscious impression from that. I don't think implicit bias will ever go away. Because it's just the nature of our brains and our society. There will always be people in Kansas who never see a black person their entire life, and because of that they're afraid of them. It's just human beings. But I think that we can educate about it, and I think that we really need to educate the people in power about it. So if police officers, if judges, politicians understand the power of implicit bias, then we can set up a system that fights back against all the injustice that's caused by implicit bias. And if we all know about it, then at least, if I find out, I'm super biased, then when I see somebody who I'm not biased against, that gives me a chance to say, no, don't behave this way. Can it be solved? I hope so, but I think it can be improved a lot.
So once people recognize that they have the potential for being biased or discriminatory, you have to acknowledge that, and then you have to get to the root of why, where's that come from, and then conscientiously fight against it. And I don't, so people do that, and I think that's good, but I don't think that's a majority of the people. And until one day, in 900 years when all the races are all mixed and everybody's medium brown with, everybody looks the same or something. I don't know. There's always going to be bias because it's racial, but it's also against different faiths, different cultures, different, physical abilities and inabilities, mental disabilities and abilities. Like I don't think we're ever going to get rid of bias until we get rid of humans.
Yeah.
That's how we solve the problem. Get rid of humans. Animals are biased too, though, so I ain't got to kill them.
This has been Jaslyn Villanueva providing you with a mini documentary of Concord High's thoughts about subconscious bias towards minorities and how that affects our society.